Hey Tati, thanks for taking the time tonight to doing this episode with me. Hey, so let's tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hi, so my name is Tatiana Anderson. I am 14 years old in the 10th grade. Um, I aspire to be a forensic psychologist and go down that career path with law and figure out crimes and stuff like that. Also, I'm getting into crystals a lot, a spirituality. Also, I am into these journals that ask me questions about myself and my forethought about memories that I had and really bringing up that past. I have some examples. Um, these burn after reading, and so it's just asking how honest can I be when nobody is watching, or how I am alone, and 2000 questions about me and affirmations that I have day to day and just getting to know myself because a lot of teens struggle with that issue, and I do have parents that I can talk to freely about my feelings and they not bash me. So yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah, that's key, because I think anybody, no matter how old you get, it's the comfort in being able to tell somebody about yourself without feeling judged or being picked on. I don't think that ever gets old, Tati. So,
Yeah.
and I think also too, it's really good that you're reading these type of books at such a young age because even adults have issues with self-reflecting, and so it's good that at this age you are self-reflecting, learning a little bit or a lot about yourself, so that when you are an adult and you do go out into the real world with it, it's cruel. You know who you are, and no matter what nobody tells you, you know who you are. So I think that's awesome. So you know how money. So money's a big thing for us, right? So tell us a little bit about what is financial freedom to you.
So financial freedom to me is controlling your money and not letting your money control you. And making money however makes you happy and being happy with your job that you pick to do.
And so, what job would make you happy?
Forensic psychology and learning about the crimes and what made the criminal do the crime and all the background of what they were thinking at that time and getting the DNA from the crime scene and all that good stuff to understand all the conflict and the background of the crime and how it was committed. Also, the court and how the criminal would act in court with the defendant and that kind of stuff.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, that's good that because a lot of people you don't hear a lot of people talk about forensic psychology, so that's good information for everybody to know. So being that you know we talk a lot about financial freedom, what are you doing right now to ensure that you have financial freedom in your near future when you become an adult?
So I have a online business on Depop and it's a thrift online store and I make my own products which they are safety pin earrings. So I decorate the safety pin and I add the hoop for the earring and all that other stuff. So I have some examples for us today. And these are Black Lives Matter that got sold, but I had to make more. So these are the Black Lives Matter ones. And also a Ghost Tyler Creator color theme. So yeah. Also, I invest in stock. So I have a stock in Apple, Microsoft, Broadway Financial, cryptocurrency, and Tesla.
Gotcha. And so, why did you invest in a couple of those stocks? What made you feel like you should invest in those stocks?
So Tesla is always coming out with futuristic features for their cars, and I know that will never get old. As same with Apple, it's always a new feature, new shape, new everything with the Apple iPhone. Also, the Broadway Financial was a black owned bank, so we have to always support our community. That's important.
Yeah, definitely support the black community. And I like the fact that you already have a foresight or some forward thinking when it comes to Apple and Tesla. And there's other stocks out there too that obviously we can invest in. But I think as far as a secure bet, I think Tesla right now, especially with them coming out with the new battery so that they can make affordable cars, and obviously Apple is a beast within its own way because you bought stocks pre-split before they did the four-way split, so you're definitely reaping the benefits of that in just a short amount of time. So I can only imagine when you get older how much you'll reap the benefits of that. So it's a good thing because you don't want to be that person 15 years from now when you're 30 and like I wish I invested in Apple 15 years ago. Because there's people saying that now back in from 2005. So that's awesome. And then also too,
Yeah.
so what do you do with the money that you earn?
So when I get the money, I split half of what I get and I put into a savings that I don't touch at all. So some way of income that I get is babysitting and also helping out with the family business as a assistant and helping making schedules, phone calls, and everything like that. So when I get that money, I split the whole amount and I put it into a savings,
And then you're also just
which
want to go ahead.
no, I'm sorry, you can go.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that to add in the plug that you are a certified um, babysitter
Yes.
through the YMCA, and that you are, and for those of us, you can get certified through the YMCA for $100 a babysitter, and you do also you charge per kid.
Yes. So my out flat rate is 12.50, but I do charge extra for each kid, which could be like $5. It all depends how old they are because the younger they are, the more attention that they need. So yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about that because a lot of people don't. There's COVID, and for one, it's COVID, and for two, you're 14, you're under 16, which is the normal age for most people getting, working at Chick-fil-A and stuff like that. And a lot of them feel like I'm below 16, I can't work, so that therefore I can't make any money. So, what made you start to want to get creative with trying to find different ways to make money before the age of 16? Like, what was your motivation behind that?
So everybody loves money, but money can be evil or good, however you use it. So with me for money, I know that I want to buy clothes. I know I want to go out to the movies with my friends or hang out. So I need that money, but sometimes I feel bad for always asking, like, hey, Ma, can I get some money? Can I get some money to do this with my friends? So I wanted to have that kind of responsibility and get my own money, how I like to enjoy. So kids, they're cool. So why not spend my time doing something that I don't mind doing, as in spending time with kids and having a good time with them. So and babysitting them.
Okay. And so, how long do you see yourself doing this all the way until you become a forensic psychologist, or at some point you want to break off and do something else?
So I don't mind doing babysitting at all, but I do know that I can have jobs in a other company, as in like I was thinking of a bookstore or arts and crafts place, somewhere that I know that I'll enjoy. Because I don't want to go to work at McDonald's or Walmart or anything and not enjoy it with rude people.
All
Yeah.
right, so Tati, it sounds like you got a lot of things laid out for you. You've laid it out for yourself. Actually, let me correct myself. And it sounds like you have a plan set up. And what I like to also say that you've insulated yourself with multiple streams of income. You have the dividends with the stocks, you have Depop, you have babysitting. So you have three streams of income at the age of 14, which I think is awesome. A lot of adults only got one. So you're already on the right track, right? So what are your goals for the future?
My goals are, when I think of goals, I'm thinking about what I'm about to accomplish as in short-term goals. So my short-term goals right now are going to summer school this summer and taking the courses that I need to take in order to graduate my junior year as a 16-year-old. So any classes that I may need as in economics or anything like that, I'll be taking that this summer. So junior year is not a problem for me to graduate early. Also, goals, my long-term goals is after I do graduate, I'm gonna go to a community college, specifically Virginia Wesleyan. But I'm gonna go there just to get my general courses down, my main studies, and go to an Ivy League school that I know has a good law enforcement background, as in Harvard or UCLA, Princeton, anything like that. Um, that's where I plan to go to after my community college and I am of age to move out of state.
And so you're doing all of this early, right? You'll be graduating at the age of 16. You'll be going to college early. And so it sounds to me like your plan is to retire early. At what age, if you could just put a
Yes.
number, what age would you like to retire early?
So my plan is to retire as old as 30 maximum, but I'm getting more 25, 25.
25. So that's really ambitious, right? And I like the fact that which is 10 years from now, by the way. So I think that's definitely possible, especially being that you have the groundwork right now. You understand stocks. You've been reading up on that. You understand what it is to be an entrepreneur by starting off with Depop, right? Especially online, right? So that's something that is not going away in our lifetime, probably. And then you have the daycare set up. So academics obviously is easy for you. Seems to be like you do that in your sleep. And so that's what I meant to bring up actually. So you going to college, right? Talk about where you're gonna live. So because you don't intend to live, you know, with your parents the whole time, right? So what's your plan? Because we talked about this a little
Yes.
bit, and it's something that I think teenagers your age could
So
think
my
about.
plan is, yes, for sure. So the plan is to have am in community college and I'll be having at least two tenants in the house that I'm currently in, and then pay mortgage to pay the mortgage off, and I'll be getting the rest.
Cool. So with that, so how many bedrooms do you have? Will be in that house?
There's
That's you.
three bedrooms and two bathrooms. Three bathrooms, three bedrooms.
All right. So being that you will be, I was about to say you are retiring early at the age of 25. That's your goal. But being that you will be going to college at an early age and will basically be a sophomore in college by the time you're 18. Tell us about your goals as far as living independently at the age of 18.
The plan is to live where I'm living now and have two other tenants rent out the rooms in this house. So they pay the mortgage, and whatever money is left over, I'll get the profit to fixings or money in my pocket.
Awesome. So for those of you that don't know, that's house hacking. And so a lot of college students, if they are in a fortunate to be in a position like Tatiana, where they can have a property at the age of 18, they can house hack to be able to have less expenses. That way they can only focus on the other, expenses of a college student. A lot of college students live on campus or their parents pay rent for them to live out in town. What Tati's going to be able to do is to pretty much eradicate, you know, parents paying for you to live on campus and you just stay in the local area, at least for the first 2 years, which 2 years is still 2 years being able to save money and make a profit. So that would be
Yeah.
income stream number four at the age of 18, not including what you may figure out between now and 18 years old. So 3 years to still figure out other ways. I think that's a pretty good head start. And I just don't want people to think that age can really stop them from really being able to make some type of money. I'm not saying you got to become a millionaire at the age of 13 or 17 years old, but you just having the idea and the concept down packed now, and you having the support system of your parents, I think is what a lot of teenagers need. And especially being that there's so many capable individuals that all they need is the investment, right? The parents investing into them, whether it's money or time, and the exposure to have even the thought of, hey, I could make money on Depop. I could let my parents invest $100 into me for my babysitting certification so that I can make money. And if the parent wants you to pay them back off your first $100, then so be it. But at least you were invested in, and then from now on, yeah, you can make your own money from that. And there's tons of ways. Obviously, you can advertise yourself on babysitting. There's like an app, and you have Craigslist. You have a bunch of things that can go from that. So
Mhm.
so with you making the money that you make, you have some type of budget, or you've at least been able to learn about what a budget is. So just explain to everybody, what is your thought process when it comes to budgeting and the money that you receive.
Yes, so my experience with budgeting is a lot from seeing my parents budget, and I'm always usually there when they do. So they show me each step that they're doing and what they're doing. So basically, the process is listing everything down. Well, first paying yourself and listing all the expenses that you have, including gas, grooming, bills, anything, and listing all those prices, adding it all up, and seeing how much you have left to either put in a savings or an emergency fund, or in your pocket to um s- save or spend your money wisely out of your income.
All right. So when it comes to budgeting, right? So I want you to think about how it will pertain towards you when you live on your own. Because like you said early in this episode, you'll be house hacking at the age of 18. And so you'll be writing down your own budget. So how about this? All the hair products that you use, right? So now that's going to be a part of your budget. Groceries. You don't eat that much, so your grocery bill be kind of low. So you don't have to worry about that, right? Too much. But you'll have a car, right? You'll have gas, you'll have your car insurance. Hey, speaking of car, what's your plans for a car? Because you'll be able to drive in about 2 years, year and a half.
Yes, so the that goes back to what I was saving. So the amount that I get, the amount that I receive, that I save, I'll be using half of that or half of the price of the car that I'll get and putting that towards the car, and my parents come up with the other half. So that was kind of an agreement that we both had, as in, hey, you are getting this money and you are putting it aside, but you need something that you're putting it to, because you don't just want to save money and not know what you're saving it for. So my idea was to save the money to buy the car, or half.
Yes, and I agree with that thought process as far as your parents matching you in what you provide and what able to bring to the table. Because for one, it shows me how bad you want the car, right? So if you can scrape up 2 grand, okay, we'll meet you with the other 2 grand. Okay, you get a $4,000 car. That's a decent car. And obviously, parents, we're not gonna let you fall on your face if a $4,000 car means it needs some work. We'll make sure the work gets done. But it'll make you more appreciative of what you are driving because you bust your behind to at least pay for half of it. And that goes a long way. Definitely goes a long way. How you ever see somebody how when they have something for free, how they treat it versus them working for it? That's mine. No,
Yeah.
versus it broke. I'll just get another one, right? And so I think that's gonna be a
Yeah.
big step for you as far as responsibilities, right? Because you got this 2-ton vehicle that you'll be driving that you pay for. You'll have your car insurance, obviously your gas, you the monitor. You're gonna have your friends talking about, hey, come across town, and you be like, gas. I need to make sure I got enough gas to get to school
Yeah.
or or to work. So I think that part is gonna be pretty cool, Tati. All right, so Tati, so it's to my understanding that you just recently got a debit card. So explain to me about what that means to you, right? Because you was definitely cheesing when you got it, and so yeah, just explain to us,
Yes.
yeah, explain to us what that mean to you, and what do you think? Do you think how you spend your money now will dictate your future and how you spend it later? Swiping that
For
card.
sure, it does. So I got my debit card thinking like, yes, I finally have money to spend. Like I'm gonna get all the money in the world and just whatever. Little did I know that the only money that I was getting on my debit card was money that was in the budget for me for clothes. So I was totally fine with that as long as I had some money to swipe my card and look cute with. So when I get my money, I barely buy it on clothes. I usually buy it on my hamster, and I I get anything that I see. So with me, it does predict I do need to work on, spending money less frivolously and actually buy stuff that I need because I don't need half the stuff I get, but it's the I want moment that I have that I tend to have. But I do need to work on you know, actually I'm not making a budget now because I only have $100. So there's not much to make a budget out of that. But I do need to actually spend the money what it is for. And if I do have anything left over, spend it on anything else that I do want.
So I think a few things that you're identifying very early in is that for one, you saw how fast when you went and shopping at the outlet, you saw how fast that money went away, right? Very quickly, you could spend hundreds of
Yeah.
dollars in like 30 minutes. And so I think when
Yeah.
so the way so here's the thing, right? When it comes to having cash, and when it comes to having a card, you are more emotionally attached to a dollar bill spending it. How many times you heard somebody say they want to break 100? I want to break a 20. When you swipe
Yeah.
that card, it's like, oh, it's just like, all right, wing, 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 the whole time. And before you know it, it's no more money. And so that's one thing I think you learned. I think another thing that you learned too is that it's it's kind of like it's kind of addictive, right? It makes you feel good, like being able to swipe
Yeah.
that card and being able to buy things for yourself, right? And that's that type of you can get addictive or really, really want that feeling, no matter what your financial situation is. Even if you know you only got $5 left, if it just means that you buy a $4.99 king size Snickers bar, because that's gonna make you feel right now, even though you know you're supposed to have say that $5 for gas. But
Yes.
I think it's good to learn this stuff now so that when you are an adult, you got all that impulse buying out the way. Kind of you're able to identify. All right, this is definitely an impulse buy. I don't need any of this stuff. I need to make sure I get air in my tires or new tires.
Yeah, it is also a thing of it does make anybody happy just to get that piece of plastic and it meaning a lot because it's that feeling of independency and you feel like you can just do whatever and spend it with whatever and you see this and you're like, I have the money for it. I could just swipe my card. And so, yeah, I definitely learned that, and I'm seeing that a lot now. Even with me just asking my mom, like, "Hey, like, I don't have enough money on my card, so can you just buy this for me?" And she's like, "Well, you should spend it what I told you to spend it for, and that's just your way of learning." So it is a lot of learning and responsibility, and it just takes time for you to actually see like and realize it.
Yes, and so a little bit on. So you have your set amount of money, right? That you earn for your clothing allowance. That's on your debit card. And so when it comes to making decisions on what you buy, let's just say you did spend it only on clothing.
Mhm.
You what is your thought process when you buy when you buy the clothes? Because you only have $100. So do you say, hey, I got $20 to spend on a shirt, I got $30 to spend on some pants, and then that leaves me with $50 to buy some shoes? Like, how do you? What is your thought process on that? You breaking down that $100 to stretch it as much as possible.
So I usually base it off of what I need most. Do I need shoes most? Do I need pants, shirts, or anything? So it's really based off of that. Usually, most of the times I do buy shirts. I don't really buy a lot of shoes unless I actually need it, but it's mostly spent on shirts and pants because that's really what I most care about. My shoes, they're not they don't show that I've had them for a while, so it's not really my importance.
Yeah, and so what you're doing, what you're describing is, emotional spending, impulse spending, and you're fine tuning that. And the good part is you're able to recognize that right now. You see that at the age of 14, I'm making, judgment calls with my money that isn't the best. And so clearly, you have the safety net, which is your parents, to ensure that you don't go too crazy. Um, and they, obviously you're still taken care
Yeah.
of, right? So it's great. And that's what I'm
Mhm.
talking about as far as investing in your children, and whether it's time and money to explain these concepts to you, to your young children, because I'd rather you make $100 mistake now at 14 that obviously we could survive from, versus you're 25 and you make a $10,000 mistake, and next thing you know your car is getting repossessed. And so that's the plan, right? And it's not just so much. I think a lot of times, as parents, we may focus on our kids growing up. Hey, just go to be a good kid in school, and don't get in trouble, and respect us, right? But being
Mhm.
that school does not teach you how to spend money, how to deal with impulse buying, how to not be such a consumer, how to save, how to invest. I think that is what we are just taught and raised to be, just to get a job, versus knowing what to do after we get the paycheck from that job. So I think, Tati, you're gonna have that down pat pretty well when you go into the real world, as like we like to say. And I think the any stressors or anxiety that you may have about the world as far as an adult, it'll be easy peasy by the time by the time you're living on your own. And you get that you actually have a great transition that I think some parents will listen to. You have a great transition that where you will be house hacking while you're in college nearby your parents, right? So just in case something's crazy, not too far down the road, but you'll be able
Yeah.
to house hack, make some money on the side, figure life out on your own. Nobody, well, nobody wakes you up right now, but obviously cooking for yourself every day, making sure the house is clean, all that jazz. Make sure the utility bills is
Yeah.
covered, all that. And also, too, you're gonna throughout time, your stocks are still building.
Yes. It is all I do realize because a lot of people tell me you are learning everything at a young age, and it's good that you're learning this at a young age. And I get told a lot of that by my parents. Like, I didn't know this when I was growing up, and I didn't have this, or my parents didn't inform me about this stuff, or how to save, or how to budget, or what to spend your money on, and things like that. And it does mean a lot to me that I am grateful for having these influencers in my life and telling me how to spend my money and what to do with it. And so it is important to me, and it shows day by day like how I am affected by it. And it is important because we don't get taught this in school, which I think is crazy because a lot of people go into the outside world and they don't even know where to start. So it is important, especially in this generation, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs and people that are trying to find other creative ways to get their money. And they started from the bottom. I started off of the support of my parents and them learning and teaching it to me. So I won't have to be clueless when I go out in the outside world and have a stable platform to bounce back off if I do need help or support or anything like that.
So the cool thing about generations, right? So your parents, what your parents is doing for you, you'll probably be able to do 10 times more for your children, so that whatever you may have experienced that maybe we could have did better from, or your parents could have did better from, you're like, okay, I like what they did. This is how I'm gonna kind of tweak it a bit, because I'm gonna reverse engineering and make it a bit better, so that my children can benefit even more. And it goes so on and so on and so on. And so as long as in anything, right, as long as you buy in and you're able to see the vision, then it's pretty limitless, as long as you believe that you can do it. And selling earrings is not your passion, right? Stocks is not your passion, but you recognize the potential in it, the freedom in it. And so that's what's amazing about it. At this young age, you're mature enough to say, okay, yeah, like, do I want to make earrings for a living? No. I want to be a forensic psychologist. But do I see the value in it? Do I see the value in stocks? Do I see the value and the benefits in house hacking my own property? Yes. And so I'm going to take advantage of those loopholes, or any ways that any strategies that will give me the edge, so that I can be obviously closer to retiring at the age of 25, which I look forward to seeing that happen, because nobody in your family's been able to do that, right?
No, it no, but I was my mom and well, her mainly. She was always like into criminal or lawyer type things, and um I think it really got based off of watching those criminal shows with her. And even though it was a lot to see because I was at a young age, it was, it didn't trigger me like how it would trigger me to see any crimes that are happening this present. So I think that's where my passion got off of. And what you were saying about, earrings not being my passion is totally, it's true. That's what it bounces back off of you asking me about my financial freedom, and me saying making money, however you're passionate about. And no, making earrings is not my passion, but it does reflect off of my creativity and however I'm decorating it, or the colors that I use. So that bounces off my creative mind part. But the psychology, that's where I mainly want to focus, because the forensics part is the science and the chemistry and the DNA, which is very interesting to me because it's not talked about a lot. And the psychology part, I love getting to know somebody by just seeing how they talk or what they wear or how they do their makeup. And that's very interesting to just dialogue a person by their characteristics and personality. So it digs deeper into the crime and the drastic part of the criminal, and it bounces back off of their past, or if they were abused or assaulted or anything like that. And it clearly explains to you, and it gives you a solid reason other than assuming this person did it because of this. It gives you a proof and a good example based off the science and the psychological realm. So
That's a great explanation, because I think, like I was saying, I don't think a lot of people have heard much about what a forensic psychologist is. And I think if I was to think about one, it'd be that girl of CSI with the pigtails and the black
yeah,
nails. Like, I think that's the first
the
person that comes to
DNA
mind.
analyst.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the closest I could think of. And for any nerds, the Barry Allen, the Flash, is also, I think, a forensics scientist or psychologist.
Yeah.
I know it gets pretty. There's different branches of it when it comes to forensics. That part I do know.
Hmm.
So to top it all off,
Yeah.
Tati, what do you consider your rich state of mind?
My rich state of mind is planning everything and using all my resources and my outlets that I have today and taking that all with me to my adult life and me getting my own house and my career and my money and my budgeting, taking that with me and using it to my best ability to have that comfortable lifestyle and to retire early and get the money that I want to and saving it up so I can have my dream come true as to going to Asia and having that Chinese street food and having that freedom, that financial freedom and using it to have the best life that I want to have.
Awesome. So Tati, I appreciate you doing this with me. I know that a lot of it is a lot of the conversation is a lot about your future. And because what you're doing right now is going to affect your future. And I think you have such a very bright one. And I'm smiling and
Thank
I'm really proud of you because I think that you've definitely honed in a lot of the philosophies, thought processing that a lot of adults can't grasp. So I hope that, with raising Junior, right? I hope that I'm able to instill, those things click with him and he can grasp it as well. Because I think you'll see as you get older, Tati, you will start to branch off from a lot of your peers and you will see the life that they live and you're gonna be like, ugh, I'm glad I made the decisions that I made. And you will actually have enough prosperity and time to put back into your community and into your friends if they're receptive, right? Because some people, they're just difficult, right? So
yeah.
thank you again, Tati, and talk to
Thank
you later.
you.